So this is part 2 of yesterday's day of training. We're continuing yesterday's day of training. This is the second session. So yesterday's video was the first session of training, an hour of bouldering. And today is session 2, which is the same session, another hour of bouldering. But yeah, so I rested for 3 hours or 4 hours or something, just chilling on their nice little couch setup at Studio Block, and then it was back for session 2. And I still have a pretty good amount of boulders left in the gym to finish off. It's funny, we keep spending a week here and then going somewhere else. When we traveled back to Canada at the beginning of the year, when I spent a month in Canada and then preparing for a couple comps in the US, or we just went to Munich, or I have this phase of training where I'm training on the spray wall. So it's been a while since I've actually been able to just climb at Studio Block for an extended period of time, and I haven't been able to send every boulder in the gym. I haven't got a chance to really have enough time to do that. So we're getting closer. We've had a couple sessions here, and I think going into this session I had 4 7s left in the gym, and this was one of them. But this boulder here looked like the hardest boulder in the gym up right now, and it proved to be the case, I'd say, in my opinion. You can see I fell once on this first move, and then now I'm just trying the ending to get it dialed. And then this move here in the middle is super cool. It's you're on the sloper and you go up to this crimp. And then when I was looking at this boulder, I thought that since this crimp in your left hand is pretty positive, it's small, but it's in cut, I thought surely I would just be able to kind of do this big moon kick and slap up for what looks like a jug, honestly, and just skip these 2 slopers in the middle here. But these holes are naturally super greasy. Even when this line of flat holes is new, they don't have a lot of texture, and these ones are kind of pretty old and worn in. So one of my attempts, I just did the moon kick and tried to skip these 2 slopers and hit the jug, but it wasn't that the hold was too bad, it was too greasy, and the amount of momentum and just swinging out of a cave, it felt I kind of immediately ruled it out as being too hard, just because the hold was going to be too greasy to kind of pinch and stay on. So I ended up finding this. I can't actually tell what the intended sequence is either. It seems like there's just a lot of options, and what my body naturally found on its own, I didn't even think of this necessarily, was to kind of do a toe catch and hit the sloper. But when I tried the move, it was funny. I kind of hit the sloper and did a toe catch, but it kind of slowed my swing down. I still ended up kind of cutting feet. And then the ending is pretty solid, it's pretty moderate, with some heel hooks and toe hooks, it's pretty secure. But yeah, so after doing the ending, now I'm working the beginning, and this is kind of a bad angle. I think I switched to a better angle later, but this first move is so hard. This is probably the hardest move up in the gym right now for me, in my opinion. At least in terms of physical climbing, just being physically difficult. You have this pretty decent left hand, it's kind of a pinch, a little bit in cut, and then you're on this crimp, and then there's this big black foot at the start, but I didn't end up really using it. So yeah, you have these 2 footholds, and then so you're going into a roof, and this hold you're going to, this shoulder move, this is a sloper. It's pretty bad, and it's kind of far back in the cave, and it is so aggressive. It's so intense on the shoulder. You can see here, actually, I think a couple tries I remember doing this where I kind of come off the wall and I almost kneel down, because I got a couple times when I held this first move, because I was just pressing so hard in this Gaston and just trying at my absolute limit, I got this crazy head rush where as soon as I hit the ground, my head started spinning, and I had never really got that ever before, just from doing a hard move. It was crazy. Didn't feel like I was going to hurt myself, but a couple times I did this shoulder move, I tried really hard, and then I fell right away, and then my head just got so dizzy. It was crazy. As long as I'm not going to hurt myself or anything, it was a lot of fun though. It was pretty cool to try that hard and then freaking have a head rush after falling. But anyway, I'm sticking it sometimes, and then sticking it is one thing, but what's honestly even harder is matching it. You have to come in and match it, and then you have to put your shoulder in this terrible position where you have to kind of unwind and then switch it to an undercling. It's so hard and it's so intense. And what I was realizing as well is in a couple tries here now, I'm gonna stick this first move and then match the hold and then try the next move. And after doing the first move and like matching this hold, I am so gassed that all of a sudden this move off the crimp just becomes like twice as hard, and I have like no energy even just after this first sequence. So like I'm not super close to sticking the toe hook move necessarily. And even after trying it like this move in isolation a couple times, not even with the first move, I wasn't able to stick it after I did it that one time. It's a really inconsistent move. I wonder if there's a better way I can try, honestly. I kind of just stuck it on the second time that I tried this toe hook catch. Here you can see I'm getting another head rush as I'm like kneeling to the ground. This boulder is brutal. But yeah, maybe there's a different way I can try this move to the sloper, but yeah, I was kind of just sticking with what worked on my second try. But yeah, I probably worked this boulder for like half an hour. I was feeling pretty strong this session, actually, stronger than the first session. So a lot of times this will happen, actually. My body kind of actually performs better in session 2 than 1. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I was feeling super strong, and I was able to give like some really max effort attempts and make some, I kind of figured all the nuances of this first move, and think I have a pretty good idea of how to do the ending. And it was nice to hop on, especially after the first session where we basically sent every boulder that we tried. It was nice to hop on like a super hard boulder at studio block. I find there's usually probably 2 to 3 boulders like this at the gym at a time where like I'll really struggle with them, and they'll take like multiple sessions to send. But yeah, I really like that boulder. That's like an awesome project. I can't wait to come back to that. Super physical, a lot of fun, and yeah, it's nice to have some hard boulders up. And then I moved on to this yellow one, which we tried it like about a week ago or something, maybe a week and a half. Probably like 2 weeks actually, when we were it was on the last session of our bouldering intro week to this new program. And you can see, like maybe if you remember in the last episode, I was trying to toe hook the big yellow donut and then do that kind of 1-2 move. This time I kind of thought of new beta where maybe I can toe hook the volume and have my right foot in the donut and do this move. But what was happening was, so I was trying it with my kind of slip-on shoes that I was talking about that are kind of new that I'm trying out. But the toe hook was not working with the toe hook. These slip-on shoes are no good for toe hooking. I'm realizing my foot just starts coming out of the shoes, so it wasn't going to happen in those shoes. And then I have another pair of like the Velcro Instincts that I'm also using. I'm kind of like alternating between these 2 shoes. But like on my second day of like breaking in the Velcro Instincts, the rubber flapped up, which doesn't usually happen. Like I've worn these shoes in the past, and usually they'll last like pretty long. But I don't remember, I was doing like some intense toe hook and I wrecked the shoes. So I actually didn't have like a good pair of shoes that I could try this yellow boulder in. So I still have my high angles that I have been climbing in like previously. They're like the toes kind of toast. They kind of have some holes in them. But I set a reminder to bring my high angles the next time we have a session at studio block, so that I can have just a shoe that's like good enough to toe hook that volume, so I can actually try that sequence for real. But yeah, it was kind of funny. I couldn't really try that boulder. And so yeah, anyway, we're moving on to this boulder here. This another 7, this black 7. And I am sucking, as you can see. Like I've kind of mentioned this in the past couple of videos, that I'm not good at this kind of just running on volumes. I can do like, coordination dynos and paddles and stuff that I'm not too bad at, and I understand how the movement works. But when it comes to like these long sort of volumes where you got to go foot after foot after foot and just like kind of more running based boulders, as I've been climbing here at Studio Block, like they set a lot of these boulders, and I've been really realizing that I'm not super great at them, and I need practice. Oftentimes I feel like I'm almost kind of scared of them. Like I find that I'm kind of scared with my feet about like tweaking my ankle or something. But this is definitely something I need to work on. And right now we're kind of in like a strength cycle, like where we were just training mostly on the spray wall, so it's not, I haven't had the opportunity to practice it. But now we're kind of doing half and half, where we have half our training is going to be on the spray wall and half of it's going to be at just like boulder sessions. So I can start working on this weakness, which is going to be cool because there's a lot of opportunity to do so at Studio Block, as you can see. But yeah, you can see I'm like trying it. Right now the full variation of this boulder is too much for me. Like out of the corner off these 2 crimps, I'm going to need to work up to that. So I'm just kind of trying to learn the movement by trying it off these yellow jugs, and I'm still not even able to stick it. And this move is massive. Like I know I'm not good at this kind of style, but this move is pretty hard. Like it's a massive distance you got to travel from your crimps all the way to this jug hold. But I'm getting closer and closer. I think what I was learning about the movement is I really have to not get too high on this paddle hold. I need to hit the paddle hold with my arms extended as much as possible so that I can kind of use my lats and my shoulders as like a slingshot to fire me over to the left. And I was getting a bit tired at this point as well, so my attempts kind of started diminishing. I think after making some, learning a bit of the nuance of the move, like kind of using my lats as much as possible, if when I try that boulder again when I'm fresh, I think I can maybe do it. But yeah, that's a good one to work on for me. I definitely need to work on that style. And so as you can see right now, we've had the past 3 climbs, we tried like all 3 of the 7s. I didn't send any of them, so it's good that we have some boulders to work on here at Studio Block, especially after the morning session where I'd sent all the boulders. So yeah, we still have 4 7s left in the gym. One of them I didn't try in this session. It was a slab with some small footholds and small crimps, and I just never quite got around to that. So yeah, we're finishing off the second session of the day here with this super fun little 6 in the corner here with just 3 holds. A really aggressive kind of run across in this corner here. You kind of smash into this hold at the end. It was kind of scary, but it was a lot of fun. And yeah, I wrapped up today's day of training. 2 solid sessions, and tomorrow we'll go to Boulder for a campus session and a workout.